Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Anfield Index. It's not a live one. We just couldn't make schedules match. It is instead a pre-recorded one, build up to Liverpool playing Nottingham Forest. Yeah, a weird one, a weird fixture against Nottingham Forest. It feels like one of those ones that has become a bit of a banana skin for us in recent years. Obviously, there was the 3-0 loss a couple of years ago. They've given us some headaches in the past. The first team to beat Arne Slot, they beat us last season. There's real worry, I think, when you play Nottingham Forest. And as it always feels is the case when we play teams nowadays who appoint a new manager, we seem to be the first team. I don't know why, but this is, it's become such a trend for us that we either play a manager in his final game, I Andre Villas-Boas in Tottenham back in 2014, or we play a manager in their first game, Nigel Pearson, for example, when we played the Watford in 2020 and we got beat. So, Vitor Pereira has gone to Nottingham Forest from Wolves. They've appointed him. It's his first game in charge of the club. Big, big opportunity for him, and it could be a major hurdle for us. Now, Nottingham Forest this season have not been the best. We've seen that. The battle and relegation, of course. This is their fourth manager this season. They've gone through Nuno. They've gone through Ange. They've went through Sean Dyche. And now they've landed on Vitor Pereira in the hopes that he can get things to click for them. And we have the unfortunate task of being the first team to play them in this new era of their club. So we'll go over that today. We'll pick the starting lineup, go over the latest news. It's been a bit of it always is a bit of a slow build to matches at the moment. We're out of the transfer window. We covered Alan's transfer yesterday. He's been linked to Liverpool, 35 million euros. Go watch that one. In the meantime, there hasn't been a vast amount. Yan Diomande links have started to intensify again. That's a big thing that's been going on. There's been talk of supposedly Cody Gakpo could be on the way out, so we could look at a couple of left wingers. And I say we're just going to pick our starting 11 for Nottingham Forest. Before we do that, click like and subscribe. We're on 18,500 now, which is mental. And go over to AnfieldIndex.com. Over there, there's all the latest articles, like 15 or 20 a day. You get content from the likes of Jan Molby, Dr. Bart's. There's all sorts of stuff coming out. Shows every single day. Gags is doing the match reaction later on. I have no doubt Jack will be doing the watch along. They always do great. So there's plenty of stuff going on, plenty of stuff coming out today regarding the Nottingham Forest match. And the big thing, if this was a sort of we were playing Sean Dyche or we were playing Ange or we were playing Nuno, maybe a bit less Nuno, but you'd have a really good, clear understanding of who we are playing. Under Vitor Pereira, no one's got a clue. No one has a clue. The only thing we can discuss, the only thing we can look at is what has been discussed in terms of his play style. Now, under Vitor Pereira, Wolves just became very compact. You can see the difference between how Wolves performed under Gary O'Neill, who, look, they're down anyway, Wolves. Let's face it, they are down. There's no way that they are going to be able to survive in the Premier League now. There's too big of a point gap. But you can see the improvement, less shots faced, less goals conceded, expected goals against a lower, possession they have more, distance covered there were more. Vitor Pereira instilled a sort of energetic philosophy into the way that Wolves want to play. He likes to keep his teams very compact. Keeps them, as you can see here, Pereira's implemented a strict back three compared to Gary O'Neill, who flip-flop between a 3 and 4 in defence, but protecting that back line and a more solid team block has been key to the improved defence. He does, like it says here, he's commonly known in the game as a mid-block, a mix between a high press and a low block, but a tactic perfect for a team who wants to press in short bursts, as Pereira teams do. Now, one issue we've had this season has been our inability to win the second ball. It has been our inability to challenge physically in midfield. It has been that sort of want of desire where it's just the minute we get the ball, the other team presses us and we give it away far too easy. Now, it's improved in recent weeks. Newcastle, big one. Sunderland, huge. Qarabag, Brighton being probably the best game we've played in a long, long time. Maybe the whole season. Up there with Arsenal, maybe. So there's improvements, but against the Wolves, not a Wolves team, a Nottingham Forest team, there's a difference between playing a Wolves team that do this with the midfield they've got and a Nottingham Forest team doing this with a Morgan Gibbs-White or Elliot Anderson. Like, there's energy there, there's tenacity, there's aggression. We're going to have to really, really try and stretch play. That midfield block is not going to let anything through the centre. It's all about how we affect the wide areas. And for Liverpool today, that's probably going to play a big part in who starts for us. Now, as I say, it's a complete unknown picking out Vitor Pereira's team. He could just completely flip the script and do something that we don't know what his team is going to be. We don't know any of the information. When was the last time Nottingham Forest actually played as well? Let's have a look at that. Nottingham Forest results. So the last time Nottingham Forest played was on the 19th of February. Sorry, so they have played a game and they won 3-0 against Fenerbahce. Let's see what the starting lineup that they picked in that game was. I believe it's the one on screen now. Let's have a look. Fenerbahce. Morgan Gibbs-White, Jesus scored, Maria scored. The starting lineup they picked was Stefan Ortega, former City goalkeeper, Milenkovic, Nico Williams, Ola Aina, Elliot Anderson, Morgan Gibbs-White, Ibrahim Sangare, Murillo, Omari Hutchison, Igor Jesus, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. I believe that is the one that they have here. Yes, so, they were playing in a sort of a back four, and this is the block for them in midfield. Anderson, Sangare, Gibbs-White as well, likes to track back, Hutchinson, Jesus, Hudson-Odoi. And Hudson-Odoi caused us no end of problems last season, which, if we're not careful, could be another undoing. This is the Liverpool lineup that we played against Brighton. Now, we're going to sort of predict the starting 11, and we're going to use this as a baseline for what we're actually going to guess it to be. So Eddie put out an amazing article where he was discussing, Forest, that this could easily be a banana skin. This is something that we have to win, especially given the fact, like you said, Chelsea have slipped. They drew 1-1 yesterday against Burnley. That is a huge, huge opportunity for us to cement a top 5 position, or at least make a sustained push for it. We have to pick up this win. If we don't, I think if we can't beat Nottingham Forest, the team who are battling relegation, going through this new manager change, there's a real concern still going forward. We have to win this game. It's non-negotiable. It's vital that we do it. And like he says here, win it or regret it. This is one of those days that will linger in the memory for good or for bad. Chelsea have slipped. The path is cleared. Liverpool must seize it. No excuses. No hiding place. Nottingham Forest have flown home from Turkey with weary legs. They've come from Fenerbahce. So ignore everything I was saying earlier on about we've never seen Vitor Pereira play. I hadn't seen him play. So they've flown home from Turkey with weary legs. Liverpool have had a week to prepare. If ambition means anything, this is the afternoon to show it. And yet there's still an unease for me. Arne Slot's judgment has felt muddled at times, and his man management has been open to question. Dominic Szoboszlai in midfielder of drive and authority, not a makeshift right back. To blunt his influence for the sake of patchwork solutions is self-harm. Yes, and I get needs must. I understand that. But you've had a right back there in Calvin Ramsey. Yes, it's Calvin Ramsey. It's not prime Steve Finnan. It's not Arbeloa. It's not Trent Alexander-Arnold. At this point, it's not Glenn Johnson. But he is a right back, and you're hindering the midfield by removing Szoboszlai from it. You put Curtis Jones at right back against Brighton. Worked out great. That's fine. But I think against this Forest team, who are going to be very, very aggressive in midfield with that mid-block, look to win the ball back quick, but can just fall back into their shape, like Wolves, like we started to see with them under Pereira, like they must have done against Fenerbahce. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. We're going to need people in midfield who are up for that. And I think Jones, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Gravenberch, these kind of players, maybe McAllister, you need to keep them all there. I know Calvin Ramsey's not going to start right back. That's not what I'm saying. But it is very much putting out fires as they come up. And if you put Szoboszlai there, you are causing a major detriment to yourself, and I think he's realised that now. Cody Gakpo's form is a concern that cannot be ignored. Heavy touches, hesitant decisions, breaking attacks before they begin, confidence draining by the week. Many would bench him. Most suspect he will start, and that's such a indication of sometimes the lack of preparedness or the lack of innovation that comes from Slot sometimes. Again, I understand we're limited to options, but the fact there, pretty much everyone would bench Gakpo, and yet everyone knows he's going to start this match because he's just, it doesn't matter what he does. He's going to continue to play. He's going to continue to be on the pitch. He's going to continue to try and influence matches. And I get that he is not your quick acceleration type winger. As a player, there's a video coming out in the next couple of days. I need to really get this one edited, but he is not someone who is aggressive in the final third. He's recording 5.76 touches in the final third. However, with this also comes the fact that he's putting in more crosses than any Liverpool player at the moment. He's trying to create. He's trying to find people at the back post. He's trying to find people in the box, like Ekitike, like Isak when he's fit, like Salah, but this is the problem. On the right back position, there is no Jeremy Frimpong at the moment running in on the back post. There is no a Mo Salah running on the back post because he doesn't do that anymore. He sticks back, he stretches the play. He's not running into the box to find that ball. Ekitike is your only outlet in that regard, and it's not doing Gakpo any favors. He's not able to influence matches. He has the occasional little glimpse. Against Brighton, he put in that incredible long ball to Salah, which led to Szoboszlai's goal. Brilliant. But as an attacking player, it's not working. And he has got a couple goals. He has got a couple assists, but they were very early on in the season, I feel. Expect Liverpool to have the ball early, plenty of it. Expect long spells of circulation, tidy triangles that flatter without frightening. The first half may crawl. Yes, that is going to be the big worry here. Is Forest are going to want to keep this as contained as possible for as long as they can. They are not going to try and go guns blazing, gung ho. Let's just get the win. I understand that they are they can still survive this relegation battle. They're not in the relegation zone. They're on 27 points at the moment, 2 points ahead of West Ham United. A win today would see them go 5 points clear. Great. But they're not going to risk getting absolutely pumped for the sake of playing exciting football. It's going to be slow. It's going to be a crawl. It's going to be a struggle. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it's going to be today, I think, at the beginning period of this match. For Forest, adapting to a new manager, trying to acclimatise to everything, it's just not Pereira's prerogative to push forward at all times. So it may be a bit of a slog to go on. But quality and conditioning should tell. With fresher legs and superior craft, Liverpool ought to grow into the contest and own the closing stages. If Van Dijk and Konate dominate, if the midfield plays to a natural rhythm, if Salah and Ekitike find their range, then 3 points are there for the taking. A lot of if this happens going on there. But it's true. If we can find a rhythm, if we can just keep the back line as solid as it's been for the past 3-4 matches, maybe barring City, there's no reason we can't win. This isn't about style. It's about nerve. Win it or watch the season start tilting away. And that's the big thing today. Going away to Forest, it never, ever feels like a match that's won based on style. It does just always feel like it just comes down to just grit. They won last season in Anfield because they ground out the result. They sat back, they waited for space to open up, and then hit us on the counter attack. That's how they got their win. The draw that we picked up against them a couple of years ago, the Tsimikas Jota one, that goal, that stemmed from grit and just finding a way, fighting to find a way. This season alone, they pumped us 3-0. But we haven't won in 3 matches. We've lost, drawn, and lost. I've got the results up here. We lost the 3-0, of course. Drew 1-1 with them last season in January. Lost 1-0 at Anfield. Slot's first defeat at Liverpool. And then before then, it was 3 games in which we won. There was the 3-2, of course, the 3-0, the 1-0. Before then, we'd lost. We beat them 1-0 in the FA Cup in 2022. And then before that, you're going back to 1999. So since their promotion, or since they've sort of come back into the Premier League circulation, we've only won 50% of our matches against them. We've played them 8 times and we've only won 4. They've beaten us 3 times and we've drew once. And every single one feels like a grind, apart from the 3-0 in 2023. That was the Jota, Nunez, Salah game. Apart from that, every match just feels as though it's about physicality. It's about who wants it more. It's about who wants to push the extra hard, I guess. And just, it's never an easy game playing Forest for us. It never is. Brighton had this reputation against us for a while, rightfully so. Palace used to have it. Forest have become that new team for us. And they have picked up big results this season in terms of the matches they've played. Obviously, they just beat Fenerbahce 3-0, but you're going back earlier in the season. I wouldn't say Palace anymore is a big result for them, but drawing 0-0 with Arsenal. They did get a goal against Man City. They beat Tottenham 3-0. They beat us 3-0. That was, God, I prefer to forget about that. They drew against Manchester United. They have picked up these big results along the way. It's a worry. It is a stressful performance. It's a stressful game against Forest, but it is one that we can definitely do. And like as he says here, he's predicted his starting 11, which we're going to do now. Alisson, Szoboszlai, Konate, Van Dijk, Kerkez, Gravenberch, McAllister, Wirtz, Salah, Ekitike, Gakpo. Now, I personally think it might be slightly different. I may be wrong. I think that after the performance that was put in at right back the other day by Curtis Jones, I truly believe that he will start at right back. Szoboszlai is great when he goes into right back because he can drift in. He goes inverted. Jones can do the exact same thing. And I think with Jones as well, there's just a bit more. Szoboszlai is good defensively, but I think Jones just offers that little bit more, and he's got a deeper passing range than Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai, you want to push as high up the pitch as possible, because like you said, this Forest team are compact. They're going to drop into shape. We need someone who can challenge from distance. That's not Curtis Jones. That's Dominic Szoboszlai. We've seen the goals that he's been scoring. I completely agree. Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, that's going to happen. Would Jones maybe get a start? I don't think he will just yet. I think there's too much of a risk there. Just the history of him, let's not push him. The problem is we do not have depth at the moment. We really don't. Picked other players who I expect to be involved, but yeah, Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, Jones, probably this back line for me. Szoboszlai, but this is the issue though. Are we going to drop? We're not going to drop Gravenberch. Of course, he's going to start. But then I suppose the issue, if I've got this, is McAllister then comes off. McAllister's been in good form recently, but he has been playing the full 90 minutes a lot. It was great against Brighton. But you can't drop Szoboszlai. I think this is the one that I'm expecting. Florian Wirtz, of course, is going to play. Chiesa is not even going to look in. Gakpo will go into the left wing position. Salah will start. Wirtz will start. Ekitike will start. And I think that they are the only changes you are likely to see. I may be completely wrong. Szoboszlai, there's a part of my head that thinks Szoboszlai will start at right back because he wants to keep him in the team. He wants to overload midfield, drop us that free at the back. If Forest are going to sit deep and they are going to try and just soak up the ball with that mid block and just the free at the back, then it makes sense for Szoboszlai to start at right back. I have it in my head. I think Jones, the performance that he put in, will say to Slot, right, okay, we can trust him there, and that gives us free reign in midfield to rotate more. Szoboszlai can push further up the pitch. We don't want to restrict him to right back at this moment in time. That may have just been against Brighton, but then in the same breath, Szoboszlai played against Brighton. He started. If he was rested, I'd understand that, but he also played. He started against Brighton. So it's not about rest. It's not about rotation. It was just, let's try something different. Hudson-Odoi and Nico Williams is going to be a pain for Jones, but in the same breath, it would be a pain for Szoboszlai anyway. And I think that this is the one, this is the starting lineup that we will see. I have faith that Jones will get the game time today. I don't see him coming on late. If any change is going to happen, it will be someone in midfield comes off, maybe Wirtz, and then at that point, Szoboszlai will push up, Jones will go into midfield, and then maybe Gomez will drop into right back, something like that. That's the only change that I can realistically sort of see from my perspective. And like I said, we're playing a Forest team who, as a style of play, it's going to be difficult to break him down. The press and trigger could be anything. This is according to Pereira, going back to the article. It could be a bad touch, a negative square, or backwards pass, a ball through his Wolves team's line, or simply just a slight hesitation in possession. Those are the triggers that get Forest going, or they did at Wolves anyway. Liverpool, that one, passing back, the amount that we recycle the ball, those triangles that Eddie touched on earlier, is going to see the ball head back to the goalkeeper, back to the back line. That is where Forest are going to pressure us. And I think having Jones there, who is composed on the ball. Szoboszlai is composed as well. This isn't me saying he's not, but Jones is so good at holding the ball. And I know that's a criticism of his. And I know that people will say he holds onto it too long. Sometimes he does, yeah. But when you've got pressure on you, when you've got Forest players pushing on you, when you've got Hudson-Odoi who's going to be putting pressure on you, when you've got Igor Jesus, when you've got Gibbs White, Amari Hutchinson, all these players who are pushing that back line as soon as the ball goes back, Jones is capable of picking out that pass, that long ball. He is capable of slowing play down and holding up the ball well. That's why I would trust him in the back line in this game as the starting lineup, and then I say Szoboszlai drop there, and then Wirtz goes back into midfield. And yeah, this is the one that I think will start. So Alisson, Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, Jones, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Wirtz, Salah, Ekitike. Predicted score-wise, Eddie said 2-1, and I think 2-1 spot on. Forest are going to get a goal at their ground. New manager bounce, first home game since his appointment. I think that is going to play a big part in this. Like I said, it always feels as though we play these managers in their first games. There's probably been more examples. Just the one that always just stands out to me for some reason is Nigel Pearson. I don't know why. I think it's because we lost that game. And yeah, so we're going into the unknown. I'd love to know how Slot prepares for this game, because you've only got what you've seen at Wolves, and the issue is Forest players completely different to what Vitor Pereira had at Wolves. Completely different. So who knows? This is the starting 11 that I think is going to start. And we'll sort of touch on the other news as well, because like I said before, Yan Diomande, let me just get the banner up for you guys. Diomande to see. There we go. Yan Diomande to Liverpool. It's the link that just won't go away. It's the link that keeps coming up, and there's a big article of it on AnfieldIndex.com, which I'll share onto the screen now for you guys, just so we sort of go through it. From King Sal to Prince Diomande, Liverpool's changing of the guard, something which we absolutely need to start focusing on. We touched on it at length yesterday. Salah is more than likely going to be going in the summer. I can't see a world where he sticks around beyond this window. We are not going to offer him a new deal. We're not going to give him a new contract. From, at this age, and I've just put Diomande. Bear with me 1 second. I've done that. There we go. Diomande. There we go. That's the one. I do apologize. I was in work till late last night. Diomande to Liverpool. Yeah, we need to start future-proofing. Salah's not going to give him a new deal at this point in time. Salah's not going to be given a new contract at the age he is. At 33, the reality is unavoidable, as it says perfectly there in sync with what I'm saying. This summer may represent the final opportunities to command a substantial transfer fee for a player still operating at an elite level with just a year remaining on his contract. Yes, that is the other key aspect. Salah is not going to command a fee next summer, because like I said, we're not going to give him a new deal. His contract runs out at the end of next season. We're in the same boat going into next season as we were last season. It's just contract. The only difference is he's probably not going to get offered a new one. Van Dijk maybe will, and I'm not even too certain about that one. The Saudi Pro League's long-standing interest has never truly cooled. The conversations have lingered beneath the surface, waiting for the right alignment of timing and valuation. The Liverpool, reigning Premier League champions and custodians of a squad amidst structural transition, that alignment may now exist. I think if Saudi come in with the bags of money that they do now and start saying, look, 70, 75, 80 million, 1 year left on his contract, I think if we don't take it, it's daft. It's poor planning. You're just refusing to accept the reality. Salah's not as good as he was anymore. He still has moments. Brighton, brilliant. The penalty he took, the assist he got. He still gets goals and assists, but the overall issue is his style of play. He can control games. He's a creative force. He is still good at the through ball going through the centre. He's good at that sort of unpredictable pass. Door squeaking. There is still a skill set to Salah, of course, but it's not the one that we saw last season where he was picking up goals and assists every match without fail, breaking records, able to run off the last man. He's not that player. And if Saudi come in and offer huge money, like they tried a couple of years ago when it was like 150 to 200 million, which we turned down because we knew how good Salah was, then we have to sell him. There's no rationale to keep him that extra season. Next season, he could have a great campaign, sure, but it's never going to be the level that we need. And the longer we try and hold off on progressing past Salah and moving beyond him, the worse it's going to be. And I love Salah. He's one of the, he's, like I've said before, he's my generation's Ian Rush or Kenny Dalglish. Like, there's certain players who are legends of the club. You've got like Torres, Mane, Michael Owen, Sammy Hippier, Steve Finnan, just the first one that popped into my head. You've got that caliber, and then there's the ones above it who are like club icons, like Kenny Dalglish, Ian Rush, Steven Gerrard, Alan Hansen, Graham Souness, Roger Hunt, all these players. Salah's gone into that bracket. He's ascended legend status, and he's up there with just the greatest in the history of this club of all time. And now the time has come to the time has come to pursue change, not resist it any longer. Michael Edwards has never operated emotionally, and that's a big part in this. Keeping Salah would be purely based on an emotional decision, and we can't afford to do that now. We are in a circumstance where a transition is coming. A lot of the old guard are moving on. Robbo will probably leave at the end of the season. Van Dijk hasn't got long left. Salah, as I say, we need to strive for change, or we're going to get left behind. We had that in the past. We've seen it happen before with us. There's a hesitancy under FSG now, under Michael Edwards, under anyone in charge. There's not an emotional operation. It's all statistics and data driven. And the statistics would show Salah is in major free fall compared to where he has been in the past. His lowest goal scoring season in the league for us was 19-20, and he scored 19 goals. He isn't going to get that this season. So there's a real sign of decline from him. If a bid surpassing 75 million materialises, the decision will not be framed as betrayal. It will be framed as evolution. Liverpool is not in the business of decline management. They are in the business of controlled succession. Under a prospective Xabi Alonso system, tactical alterations appear likely. A 3-4-1-2 shape feels plausible. So yeah, essentially, everything I'm saying there, Salah, we have to evolve. We need energy. We need people who are capable of playing in that role. He can't quite do that anymore. Last season, Slot said to him, you stay forward, you don't have to track back, you don't have to come back and defend. Benefited them to no end. That's why he was able to pick up the marks he was. Now we need energy. Now we need work rate, which he has been putting in the past few matches. That game against Brighton was the first time this season he's won tackles in back-to-back matches for us, which is a mental stat to say, but there's an improvement there. But it's not the solution. It's not permanently, like, it hasn't just clicked magically. And that's why Diamande is so important. You can see the actual stat of him. This is per 90 minutes. Goals, 0.47 per 90. There is still a weakness in his shooting. He can still occasionally miss the target, but he fits into the Luis Diaz style mold. He's explosive. He's quick. When I watched them play Bayern Munich a few weeks ago, he just was the bright spark in a game which saw them get absolutely battered. His expected assists, 0.33, top 6% of Bundesliga wingers, successful passes, which for a winger to have a successful pass accuracy of 85.2, and he's not a winger who will square it to midfield or try and play it back. He's playing in behind at all times, as you can see by chances created, top 19%. To have a pass accuracy that high is impressive for a winger of that age. Like, none of our wingers, apart from Salah, maybe, because most of his passes go backwards, have a percentage that level. Gakpo, his can be somewhat inflated because he either shoots or squares it. His cross accuracy is like 23%, I believe, successful. And Diamande's is around the same, 44.6. So there's a worry there. Successful crosses, successful cross percentage, but it's his chances created, his accurate long balls. It's this. Successful dribbles, 4.51. He's in the top 1% of Bundesliga wingers. Successful dribble percentage, top 15%. Duels won, 7.08 per 90 minutes, which is in the top 10% of Bundesliga wingers. And that's what Slot wants. He wants people who are great in the air. He's won 121 duels this season, and that is the top percentile, as well as touches in the opposition box, touches overall. It's a no-brainer, and all this stuff continues to come up about him being a Liverpool supporter and now his dad is and stuff like that. It's a transfer we have to pursue. It's someone we have to go for, Yan Diamande. He is being linked with us once again. Like I say, the issue is just, would he suit what Slot wants? I've been hesitant to say yes. I feel like Slot would prefer someone, and I only said his name because it was just the first player who fares like this, like a Bernardo Silva, that style. He wants creators, not energetic wide men to run into space and beat a man. He wants people who are great at bringing others into play, like Gakpo, for example. And Gakpo's not great at it. Diomande is a very different player, but like the article says in Anfield Index, Yan Diomande is not Mohamed Salah. He is not meant to be either. What he offers is something different, something electric and explosive, what we've just said there, where Salah devastates with precision and efficiency. Diomande destabilizes with chaos and acceleration. It's that yin and yang, Diaz and Gakpo. Diaz was just quick. He was explosive, energetic. Gakpo is not that. He is more of a system-based precision style player. And I think Liverpool this season have lacked that style of winger. And Gamoa gives you it. And when he comes on, you can see the difference in our attack straight away because he puts fear in defenders. He can take on a man. He can get past them. And they go into panic mode. Against Gakpo and Salah, they will square up to you. The ball will go into the box and it will go to no one. His profile suits the next phase of Liverpool's evolution. Explosive in open space, fearless in confrontation, and relentless in his willingness to attack defenders repeatedly. He stretches games vertically and horizontally. He does not manage tempo. He disrupts it. And that's been a big issue for us this season, is the lack of aggression up front, the lack of tempo, just that lack of energetic, frenetic energy and pacing that we don't have anymore. And losing Diaz caused this. And now we have to address it. And Diomande was the perfect solution on that right wing. We need to look forward to the next evolution of Liverpool's play. Diomande could be it. These are just the links that were coming out because of the article, the comparison to Salah. And like I said in the stats, Diomande is brilliant. His tackles in the top 21%, interceptions top 8%, ball recoveries top 3%. He's made 92, and he also wins possession in the final third, 89.1%. So 13 has been won this season. He's effective at both ends of the pitch, and he just needs to be someone that we go in for. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, apologies, this isn't a live one. This is just to go over all the information, Liverpool, Forest, and Diomande. Let me know, do you want Yan Diomande? What do you think the starting 11 will be against Forest? Make sure to click like and subscribe. Go to AnfieldIndex.com if you want to read that Yan Diomande article that I was just talking about. It's really, really interesting. Follow us on Twitter. Do all that stuff. And we will see you all